order the Thursday, March 21st, 2024 Board of Education regular meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could you please call the roll?
Dana Berthold,
Here.
Katherine Johnson, Joseph Kostek,
Here.
Richard Lassine, Caitlin Olanek,
Here.
Deidre Stokes, Aaron Janik.
Here. All right, nobody is signed up for public comment. No presentations this evening. All right, we'll move right ahead to the consent agenda. We have items D1 through D8. Would anyone like any of these pulled individually?
I'm good.
All right, if we don't want them pulled individually, just can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, can we please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Next up, under action items, we have the presentation of invoices for February 16th, 2024 through March 21st, 2024.
Motion to approve invoices in the amount of $3,987,152.85.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions on the invoices? All right, hearing none, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Voting is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, we have the treasurer's report for February 2024.
Revenues for this month were $2.5 million, expenses were $8.7 million, and the all funds cash balance was $27.7 million at the end of the month. Through the end of February, 54% of budgeted operating revenues were received and 64.4% of operational spending has occurred. For comparison's sake, last year that was 51.6% and 66.2% for revenue and expenses. We're trending appropriately at this time and within budget. For investments, you will see a hyperlink there to an Illinois School District Liquid Asset Fund newsletter. The district's blended rate remains over 5%. We are keeping more of our cash liquid at this time in our sweep account. The Fed were initially going to cut rates in March. They've now pushed that off until June, and so with those staying high, we want to sit tight during our cash flow low point in the spring. Cash variance in February was $382,000 to the positive. Local revenues were slightly higher than historical Februaries, and expenses were in $50,000 of predicted.
All right, any questions on the treasurer's report? I have one. It's more of a general question than a specific one. You know, things seem to be trending good. Anything on the horizon that concerns you that we need to be aware of?
No, nothing that concerns me at this time. Medical expenses are within control right now. There's a couple of pieces, as I mentioned last month. What we're looking at right now in terms of any kind of cash flow or interfund loans. Typically, the interfund loans out of working cash have been brought in January, February. The last couple months, it's been pushed back to March. We're a little bit more stable with our cash flow. I do not have anything on the agenda for that tonight. We may need interfund loans in April to be repaid in June. We may not. So that's something we'll watch and bring next month if necessary. And then in May and June, just because of some non-operating revenue changes, we may be bringing an amended budget, tentative in May and formal in June. Stay tuned on that, and I'll give you more information in April.
But that would be borrowing from ourselves.
Yeah, the interfund loans are just between our operating funds for cash flow purposes. Yep.
Any other questions? So no TAWs on the horizon is what you're saying?
No, sir.
Don't want to go with bad, that's a four-letter word.
Yeah. All right, well, if there are no further questions, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented? A second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Voting is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the student activities report for February 2024.
Student activity account summary is in your backup materials for the month ended February. The activity fund balance was $2,296,729 with revenues of $343,874 and expenditures of $298,914. There were several negative at the time of this printing with fundraising that will clear that up here by the end of March. So we'll be in pretty good shape as the principals have done a good job staying on top of this.
All right, any questions on the student activities report? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the report as presented?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the wireless controller replacement proposals.
Okay, there are several supporting documents in your backup materials. Rather than go through each, I have a summary paragraph and then we'll answer any questions. But tonight's proposals for replacement of 4 wireless controllers on our network that were originally purchased in 2013. Aruba HPE has announced the end of sale for the current model, and replacement hardware may not be as readily available if there's a mechanical issue. The district received 3 proposals and is recommending the CDW proposal. Provided is a cost analysis and copies of all proposals. The cells highlighted in yellow represent the total cost of $115,617 and a net cost of $72,307 after our E-rate reimbursements. The upfront costs are within the current budget because of other projects coming in under budget, and we anticipate reimbursements in the next fiscal year. So it's built into our budget. We're in really good shape. Cheryl's done an outstanding job managing our technology over the years, and obviously to get as much time out of these from 2013 is excellent, but it would be time to replace these. Any specific questions, Cheryl will be happy to answer.
CDW has us now, correct?
They bid on almost everything we utilize. So
Gotcha.
we do
We do- I mean, we do quite a business with-
quite a bit of business with CDW. They are the biggest in the market, yes.
And one of the 3 bids wasn't supported, they didn't meet the criteria?
Cheryl, one of the 3 did not meet the criteria?
Yes, so we had bids from CDW, from SHI, and from Citronet. Citronet didn't address our request for proposal at all with any specifics. They sent me a catalog listing of what they have available. That's included in your materials.
Really wanted the
Yeah,
contract, huh?
The things that were listed were not related to the proposal that we were asking for. It was simply a catalog listing of services they could provide. The SHI proposal had hardware and a warranty in it. They didn't have the licensing pieces in it. I did reach out to them through email and by phone to get clarifications on their proposals. And then CDW's was the most comprehensive proposal that had all of the pieces that we were asking for in the proposal. And they came in cheaper on the 1-year and the 3-year options than the other vendors.
Wonderful. We do business with them already, and they're, it's the best price. It
Right.
seems pretty straightforward.
Do we have some sort of, I don't want to say study, but some sort of document that shows all the technology pieces in the district? Feels like we're always approving it this month, and next month we'll probably see some more, which is fine. I'm not saying like we don't need to do that, but it just be nice to have
So
something.
catalog, yes.
Like a catalog of what we have and what's
we do have-
on the horizon.
we
Like,
do
we'll
have
need
catalog.
this next year and these, 4 servers the following year. Just so maybe the other board
Yeah,
members.
we can put some of that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, access points is right around the corner.
That'll probably be, a year or so away. And when you mention things coming up again, last year I asked for 2 controllers. We had 4 on our network with the expansions we did at West and the new internet connection at West. That's why I asked for 2 controllers for West for last year. So the ones that I want to replace this time are the ones that have been on the network for 10 years now that currently are in 2 of our buildings.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it'd just be helpful to see kind of what's out there, and,
Sure.
like we do with the parking lots and all that kind of stuff.
And we know that any of the purchases that, if it's multi-year, that will I don't even know what words I want to use, connect appropriately with all of the current technology, that we're not going to have
Yes.
any issues with anything else that needs to be replaced moving forward?
No, the models that I'm proposing for the replacements this year are the same model that I purchased last year, that I purchased 2 of last year. So we know they are working perfectly fine in our environment.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the wireless controller replacement as presented? Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the insurance broker consultant RFP and services agreement.
Good evening, everybody. We recently did an RFP for our employee benefits insurance broker / consultant services. If, as you may know, we left the Lincoln Way affiliation about 4 years ago, where we were insured within that affiliation and contracted with Stum Insurance with initial 3-year contract, and then we're currently in a 1-year extension with them. They did a really good job for us with transitioning us out of the affiliation into fully being self-funded within the district. But with employee benefits being the second highest expense to our district, and also with our claims running higher over the past couple years, we felt best practice, as we have done for other types of services, to go out and see what the market had to offer for us. So we did that. We put together an RFP, which is in your backup materials, and sent that out on February 14th. And we received 7 responses from all very highly qualified consultants / brokers in this business. They were very thorough, and so our team has spent a lot of the last month going through them. We had each of these companies in for an interview. We sent follow-up questions to them, and overall, we were just really impressed with what everyone had to bring to the table. So much so that we put together a scorecard that each of us who were in the evaluations did individually and then completed as a team, where we really just focused on some of our priorities of what we were looking for in a consultant / broker. And those priorities were just completeness and thoroughness of the RFP. Did they meet everything that was required of them to send, that we asked for them to send in the RFP? We didn't receive any catalogs or anything like Cheryl just did. We also scored them on interview, the day-to-day support that they would be providing to the district, that we perceived that they would provide, how deep their bench is, things like that. They all had a dedicated team that they brought with and we met with, that would be working with us. The creativity that was surrounding our district's plan designs, if they brought us any ideas and what those ideas were. Prescription claims, their support, their knowledge, their expertise that they have on site, their wellness programs that they offer, and just the implementation and resources that they have available for those, because we feel that, we need to start doing a little bit more work for wellness programs here. Illinois Public School District experience was also very important to us, and then finally price. And we kind of looked at each of these equally. We didn't weight one criteria over the other. So with all of that said, we determined that Alliant Insurance Services really could meet all of these priorities and aspects that we were looking for. We were very impressed with their response, with their interview, with their follow-up. And so we're asking tonight that, for your approval to move forward with contracting with them. Their price is at $78,500. and that will be flat for the next 3 years. We asked for a 3-year price. They held theirs flat for 3 years, which is important for us and nice for us for helping with forecasting and things like that. You know, and we feel just with where we're at right now, they're very forward-looking, and we think that that's what we need at this point. And, you know, 3 years from now, we'll probably be evaluating again to see where we're at with this. But we think that Alliant could be a very good partner for us.
All right, any questions for Kelly?
questions?
I have a couple.
Sure.
So you talked about day-to-day support. Will they assign us, you know, this will be your person, or is it a team approach? You get, you know, this person's the head and you get 2 people underneath them? And how does that work for our
So
purposes?
yes, there is a day-to-day person. I believe Alliant actually had a day-to-day person plus kind of 2 people, like you just said, underneath them that we can contact. Our employees will also have a direct line to those people. So it's not just our team in the finance and HR department.
Are they a publicly traded company?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe that they're partly, if I remember their proposal, I believe that they are partly employee-owned, but I would have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Did we contact any of the references that they listed in the report?
We did. I contacted several, and they all had very good things to say about them.
Okay. Because I noticed Village Mokina, Frankfurt, Mokina 159, they listed them as references.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's good to see they're already in this, you know, the south suburbs in this area.
Correct.
So. Any further questions for Kelly? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the Employee Benefits Insurance Broker Consultant RFP and Services Agreement as presented and direct administration to finalize and execute a formal contract?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second?
All right, can you please open the vote? Thank you, Kelly.
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the Quad Plus abatement.
There's a memo in your backup materials. This is the Quad Plus abatement. Even though the board had already agreed to a 5-year abatement, every year we have to go back and say, hey, remember, we voted on the 5-year abatement.
This is the 5th year, right?
No, I think it's only
Fourth?
third.
Okay.
Third.
Oh, third?
Third. Seems like that long ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this would be the third year of the 5-year abatement, so we would just need you to approve the resolution as presented. Once again, if you remember, we had quite the discussion 5 years ago when we.
3 years ago, right?
3 years
Or
ago.
4 years,
Seems like 5.
whenever it was.
3 years ago, on this topic.
I remember vaguely the discussion being, they would commit to, I don't want to say hiring district.
But doing
Like
more.
doing some things, doing some more?
things. We haven't seen a lot of them, but that's something we can reach out again.
Yeah, maybe we want to do that just,
Yeah.
and, not that I'm voting no, but if we were to vote no, what would happen?
I don't know, that's a great question.
wondering the
Mike, what
same
would
thing.
happen? That's good.
I mean,
That's
it's
a
already been
great question.
approved 3 years ago, now, we're not approving it
Well,
now.
so what was approved in, it was, you're right, it was 5 years ago, and it was in 2019, you approved the concept that once they met the following criteria, the abatements could kick in,
Okay.
right? What the county clerk has now said is that resolution was sufficient in concept, but each year on the tax levy, for them to be able to abate it, they need an individual year's resolution. So I believe the answer to your question, and I'll verify with the clerk, is if you were to vote no, I don't know if they could abate it on this particular year's levy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, any other questions on the Quad Plus abatement? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, please open the vote.
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the student fees for 2024-2025 school year.
Last month, we discussed student fees, kind of a first reading, and our recommendation is in your backup materials. We would recommend that we keep our base instructional fee at $325, the technology fee at $30 for replacement or insurance, basically on their laptop, for a total of $355. The only change would be on our whole list, would be a change from $40 to $50 for a yearbook. Kelly's done a lot of work on this over the last several years, and we think we finally have this lined out to a pretty good place. I'd be happy to listen to any suggestions or thoughts.
Yearbooks are optional anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
And is it just the cost of producing a yearbook at this point and
It
materials?
is, and just the costs of production have kept going up, and believe it or not, most kids order one. So, oh yeah, a lot of kids order 'em. And so yeah, that's just to cover the cost.
They haven't gone to digital yearbooks yet, like something that you pop up on your phone?
Not.
No?
They're gonna go in a
Microfiche.
box, box in their
idea there.
box in their parents' basement.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's where mine are at.
That's right.
In my basement, but
Right.
still. All right, any further questions on the student fees? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve student fees for the 2024-2025 school year as presented?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Next up is the food service meal prices for the 2024-2025 school year.
No change, but we need to have it approved every year. So we recommend no change. Last year, you may recall, we did increase it by quarter, and this, for this coming year, we would remain flat.
Fantastic. What about the price of a pizza puff?
Yeah, Are pizza puffs still like the favorite thing?
Pizza puffs are, that's a favorite.
Probably what I would eat every day, but,
That and mini corn dog have been.
oh, yeah.
Choice.
All right, any questions? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the food service meal prices for the 2024-2025 school year as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the second reading for the Board of Education meeting schedule.
Included in backup materials would be the proposed meeting schedule for the upcoming school year. We would skip July, as we've done the past several years, move August up to that second Thursday to pay some bills. And then, as you can see, everything else would be then the third Thursday of the month.
All right, any questions on the schedule? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the second reading of the Board of Education meeting schedule for 2024-2025 as presented?
So moved. Let's laminate it.
Second.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Did I hear a second? Yep.
Second.
All right, great, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, under informational items, we have the report of the Lincoln Way Special Education District 843 Governing Board meeting held February 27th, 2024.
The minutes are attached. I think the main work right now being done at the co-op is search for a new principal of Pioneer Grove. That's currently occurring. I think there's, Sarah mentioned there's several good candidates that have applied, so that'll be the big shift that will be happening in the co-op, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. No FOIA requests?
None.
How about that?
All right, buildings and ground report?
Buildings and grounds and community relations, all in your backup materials.
Real quick on the buildings and ground report, maybe a quick update. Is it on here, Lockport, and how that's
Michael, where are we at on Lockport?
Yep, Lockport's in there. So what you'll notice if you go down to the very bottom, let me pull that report up. You can see actually it's on page 2, and you can see under service and repairs for February, you see in north, you see that $360,000. That's that cleaning from last month that finally hit the books. And so obviously I continue working through and reconciling that. Overall in this report, any north expenses are captured in here, and we're tracking them separately for sake of Lockport and teasing that apart. And then I think in terms of a summary for this report, electricity's trending a little bit high this year, natural gas is low. And so those budgetarily for us are within budget, but they're offsetting each other. This is overall up 11%, but when you take out those Lockport expenses, I did the math without it, and we're up about 4.5%, which is within the budget where we were.
And that service and repair for February, that was obviously to get things ready in anticipation of them moving in.
That was the upfront cleaning.
And we're gonna true all this up later, or has that happened yet?
It's ongoing. So
Ongoing.
they have already paid
Every
us in part, and then that's part of the ongoing reconciliation each month. Yep.
And then, obviously, their referendum did not pass. Do we have an update on how that would impact the use of the building going forward?
So I'm Dr. McBride this morning, and they're going to meet here over the next 2 to 3 weeks to determine their next course of action. Obviously, very disappointed as they needed those funds to really do what they needed to do in that building. They have an option to do they have some DSEB money and some different things that they'll be able to utilize, but they won't be able to get it to the level they want it to. They'll have to use this money just for ceilings, basically. And so he said the next 2 weeks, they're gonna kind of make a determination on what direction they'll go next fall. I told him we're still open to the possibility if they need a place to stay.
So more to come?
Yes.
All right, so community relations report is in there.
Yep, in your backup materials. And 210 Advisory did meet last month. They're in the process of handbook revisions. Been looking at the attendance policy and the language used to excused, unexcused, documented, undocumented. Really riveting discourse, but that's something we'll bring back to the board once they iron all of it out. We could certainly make things clearer than what we have now, like the undocumented versus documented, because many parents think undocumented is a bad thing. It's really not. So we're going more with the excused, unexcused model, and that'll be ready for the board in April.
I think that's going to be super helpful. I think it's very confusing as a parent in the district who also works in another district to know what the stipulations are, and then the kids tell me different things than I think I know, so.
Undocumented is just like they weren't excused, they weren't called in, they weren't excused.
Well,
They're just-
undocumented is you just,
have a
It's not in the
you
books.
stayed home with a cold.
Sure.
The parents called you in. Documented, you have a doctor's note.
Oh,
Exactly. We're gonna
Okay.
simplify it. We're gonna make it
Okay.
easier.
It's a little confusing.
yeah,
We're gonna make it easier.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll make it easier.
All right, next up is the first reading for the textbook adoption?
We're gonna punt on that
Okay.
because we had a late change in AP Psych. And so we'll bring that back, first reading April, get approval in May. There were some changes there with AP testing. We wanted to make sure we had the right book. I didn't want to bring 2 without bringing all 3. So 3 will come next month.
Got it, thank you. Legislative report?
There's a lot going on in Springfield, but nothing, I don't know if anything has legs or not that will significantly impact us. We're going to keep an eye on everything, and I'll let you know. But right now, I think we're okay in terms of the discussions and things that were coming out of committee.
So just wait till the 11th hour.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of. The only one that was, there was one with IHSA eligibility where the proposal is that if the sending school and the receiving school's principal both agree to it, that student athlete would be eligible immediately and take out the IHSA. Obviously, we've sent in our concerns with that. That's not a good model. So essentially what that means is if a Catholic school kid didn't start at shortstop, they can go to the public school, and as long as the Catholic school principal says it's okay and the public school principal says it's okay, that kid can start shortstop the very next day. Currently, once a season starts and you transfer, you can't compete in that season. So essentially, it would be,
Transfer portal.
yes, open transfer, and where you're going to see it then is going to be the first 3 weeks of football, the first 3 weeks of basketball, softball, baseball. I got beat out on not starting. I'm better than the kid at that district. We're gonna move real quick. And so we've sent in our slips on that one. Renee sent in a witness slip to support some, I guess, it's going to be more helpful for dual credit. That's what we're looking for, some more support for dual credit. So Renee did a witness slip today or yesterday or today. So those are the two out there right now that could impact us. One positive, one negative.
All right. All right, great, thanks. Any other district business?
Nothing additional to report.
All right, any correspondence?
None this evening.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees, collective negotiating, and/or student-related matters.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're in closed session, and there will be action after.
Correct. Thank you.
7 3-pointers by the guard for opening the first ball. My phone keeps dinging every 2 seconds. All right, we are back in open session. We would need a,
Two motions. The first, resolution for dismissal and non-renewal of certain non-final year probationary teachers. We would, whereas the following teachers have been employed by the Board of Education as non-final year probationary teachers for the 23-24 school term, Joe Dawczyk, Kyle Graff, and Matthew Judd. I would ask that you approve the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second?
we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the residency issue. I need a motion to approve the residency status for 2 students, A and B, as presented in closed session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, is there any other business to
None.
attend to? No?
Doesn't seem-
With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is April 18th, 2024.